Hello, everybody. Welcome to another AUTMHQ event, Day in a Life with BigCommerce. I am Michael Ward Jr., the President and CEO of Austin Urban Technology Movement, and I am excited for this conversation. We have three amazing speakers that are going to come and dive in and let you know exactly what their looks like from a day-to-day inside the tech space. Now, before we dive in, I want to say the reason why we have these events is because there are two main problems that we see inside the tech space. Well, first, there's a lack of Blacks and Hispanics inside the tech space. There's an underrepresentation from what we see across the United States, where the Black and Hispanic population represent about 30% of the US population, but less than 15% inside the tech space. So that's one issue that we see. The second issue that we see is that there's just not enough people to fill the jobs inside the tech space, period. The tech industry is creating more and more jobs year over year. It's increasing in jobs opportunity in Austin, in Texas, in the United States, and across the globe. And Day in a Life and Horizons and our other programs is where we really expose people to these opportunities, get them plugged in. And then once they're plugged in, we invite them to conversations just like this. So now I'm going to bring the amazing speakers up to introduce themselves so that we could go ahead and get started and dive right in. So Ashley, we're going to start with you. Can you please just introduce yourself for the audience?
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Ashley Shakespeare, and I am a senior sales development representative here at BigCommerce. And that's a little bit more about me. I will go ahead and pass it over to my next candidate.
Cetiera, we'll go with you.
All right, perfect. Hi, everyone. My name is Cetiera Carmona. I'm the Senior Manager of Customer Growth here at BigCommerce, and I'm so excited to be here with all of you today.
And last but not least, Randall, we'll go on to you.
Evening, everybody. My name is Randall Hollimon Jr., and I'm an Associate Implementation Project Manager here at BigCommerce.
And Randall, Cetiera, and Ashley, they're going to dive in about what their day-to-day looks like as we go on with this presentation. So now we're going to go ahead and get started with Cetiera. Cetiera, please tell us a little bit more about BigCommerce, the company, before we get started into more about your day-to-day.
Absolutely. So BigCommerce is an open SaaS platform for all stages of e-commerce growth. We really have a mission to help merchants sell more. And we are really, really excited about our partnership with AUTMHQ, which started in January of 2022. So just of this year. And so, we're really happy to be partnering with you all with funding, job opportunities, and volunteering. And, we're always excited about these types of events, both the Horizons event as well as the Day in the Life events as well. So really encourage you all to go to bigcommerce.com, learn more about us. And again, we are very happy to be here today.
Yeah, and Cetiera, I'm very excited as well because there's been so many individuals we've met and we've connected with just through our relationship with BigCommerce. And now I'm excited for the community, for our Automites, for all those that are watching live and that will watch it later, learn about who you are. So please introduce yourself for the audience.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, my name is Cetiera Carmona. I'm the Senior Manager of Customer Growth here at BigCommerce. Customer growth can also be interchangeable with customer marketing, if you know what that is. So I sit in the marketing organization, and I am so excited about my job because I have a little niche market in the marketing organization where I really focus on empowering and educating and really helping our merchants use our product better. You've probably heard of other parts of the marketing organization where there's digital marketing, there's prospect-facing marketing, all types of marketing, but customer marketing is sort of an evolving field in the marketing organization. So it's really fun to be part of something that's still growing, still developing. I'm learning things all the time when it comes to customer marketing. And really our goal is to increase retention and engagement and advocacy of our customers. I started in sales, so I definitely have lots of respect for the sales team and all that they do. Then I made my way to demand generation, which is more of that acquisition, prospect-facing marketing. And then I ended up in customer marketing, where I think I really found my niche in marketing, my love, my passion, really, again, focusing on customers. My LinkedIn tagline is customer obsessed, because I really am thinking about the customer experience in everything that I do. So being able to do that here at BigCommerce has been such a joy for the last 2 years, actually. And then finally, a couple of hobbies. I love to travel. Me and my husband, we have been all over the world, Japan and Greece and Spain. It's sort of a funny thing with our friends where they're like, okay, where are you guys going to be this time? So we're just always on the go, trying new foods and experiencing new cultures. I also really love acting. It is definitely a passion of mine. Interior design. I'm always changing something in my house. My poor husband, I'm always giving him a project. And then finally, I really enjoy public speaking. I got into it about 5 or 6 years ago at a previous company where we had a speaking club. And as soon as I joined that, it was a match made in heaven of just being able to share my ideas and expertise and opinions with others and help them as well.
There's so much just what I see from your connection, your background. I'm excited to learn more. You sound like an amazing, exciting individual. So let's dive into your job at BigCommerce. So as a senior manager in customer growth, you said you found your niche. You said you found your area that you've liked, and now you've been in this space for 2 years. So walk us through your day-to-day activities for someone who may be just starting out or someone that's been inside this space for a while.
Absolutely. So my day-to-day varies. That's one thing I really love about being in marketing and customer marketing is that we are always changing and evolving and learning from the techniques that we've used in the past. That's one really amazing thing that I love about BigCommerce as well, is that we're not stuck in a box. We're not, told to do things one way just because it's been done that way before. We are always evolving and learning from the success or failures of our programs, because sometimes it happens and you just pivot and keep going. And so my day-to-day, usually I'm in meetings with cross-functional teams, which I personally love because I don't like working in silos. I really love engaging with teams who are also customer focused and really trying to address initiatives of the business that are customer facing. I'm usually building new programs that are addressing the needs of the business. So that screenshot that you all can see there is one of our annual customer programs where we're highlighting customer stories and really elevating their stories and really thanking them for being really amazing BigCommerce customers. We have so many amazing customers, and this is one program where we can really highlight them and show off, their amazing stores and user experience. I also do manage a team. So, with that comes training my team, making sure that, we're aligned on all of their projects. And then I am a really big data nerd. I love digging into reports and dashboards and analyzing data. So I love that that's part of my job as well, because I get to look at the programs that we've deployed to customers, analyze them, see where something could have been better, and then learn for the next time. We're always testing and learning, as I mentioned, always evolving, never staying in the box. So that's always fun for me to find, a bit of insight that can always help us build our programs to be bigger and better for the next time.
So I like that you comment just about the fact that you like looking at data and looking at reports. I can really relate with that, because we're always looking for, what's the trends are, right? Who's the demographic? What's the people? What is it that we're working with? And then now, what are the goals and how we're transitioning and getting there? So I love as you talk about just your passions. And now as I think about your impact on the company, your impact on BigCommerce, now let's dive in about what's your role and what you see 24/7 inside this space.
Absolutely. So our impact to the business really stems from our ability to reach a lot of our customers with engaging messaging that's going to help them use the product better. A lot of our programs are geared toward best practices. Here's what the industry is saying. Here's how you can use the product better. Here are new partners to really build out your store ecosystem. It's really about educating customers on what we're seeing their peers are doing. That's, helping them grow and helping them find success. And so for the impact, as you see here, it's really about building scalable global campaigns. Now, we partner very closely with the customer success team, and they do a fantastic job of building those relationships and really working closely with customers. We sort of come in as a support system. They can only talk to so many customers face-to-face on a regular basis. So we can really come in as that support system, ensure that the messaging that they're sharing with them is in a digital format, you could call it, via email and in-product messaging and social media, to ensure that the message is broadcasts, so that if there's a new feature, if there's a new partner we have, if there's something really exciting that we need customers to know about, my team can really step in to ensure that we are spreading the knowledge, spreading the wealth to our customers, and really helping them understand how BigCommerce can help their business grow. As I mentioned, we work cross-functionally with product teams, partner teams, customer success, really anyone who's customer-facing, we love to meet with on a regular basis. I'm always putting meetings on people's calendars just to learn more about what they're doing from a customer-facing perspective, because I think it's really important as an organization to be really aligned on your initiatives, on how you want to help customers. So again, I'm always in meetings with different cross-functional teams to learn more about what they're doing and how really I can help support them. So for example, with our product team, I'm always interested in what features are coming down the roadmap so that I can plan my team's campaigns to match what features are coming out so that we can ensure that customers are educated. So there's so much cross-functional work that happens in a marketing org, especially when you're in a large marketing org where maybe one team does all of the content writing, one team does all of the designing. In smaller orgs, it may be that there's sort of a one man band doing all of the work. But it's really nice when you're able to work with people and get support so that you're not doing it all yourself. So that's, I found such a benefit of working at a company like BigCommerce.
Well, one of the things I wanted to highlight that you said, Cetiera, is just this concept of being that support for the customer, because I completely agree that when you have individuals really hand-holding people through the process and having them feel that warm welcome, that warm appreciation, it really keeps people connected to the company, right? I want to be a part of what's happening and what that roadmap looks like. So I really hear your role and how that impacts BigCommerce overall.
Absolutely. And just a few that, our primary KPI right now, or key performance indicator right now, really is customer engagement. We see that when customers are engaged, they're really happy, you're building those relationships, it's typically that they're going to stay longer. So, a couple of wins that my team has seen recently is that we've really optimized some of our annual customer programs to make them bigger, better, a bit more strategic. And we've seen increased engagement for that. Again, going back to A/B testing, I'm always telling my team, please try it. We can learn from it. If it didn't work, fine, that's all right. Let's just keep testing and learning. We've also really started using in-product messaging a bit more to get in front of our customers as well. So that's been really amazing. So all of these things put together has just, the testing, the cross-functional alignment, and really building scalable global programs has really helped and shaped what customer marketing looks like at BigCommerce.
Yeah, I hear a lot of adaptability, moving from, point A to point B, working with teams, working with customers, and really being that glue and a good way to understand what you're measuring so you can move forward. Cetiera, let's talk now about the credentials and what the career path look like for someone who, once again, just starting out or maybe been inside this space for a while. And for those that are online, please submit your questions. We're loving the engagement. We see a lot of y'all are data people. So let's give you some ways to get started if you're looking to get plugged in.
Yes, so happy I'm with good company, all you data people too. In terms of credentials and certifications, it really, I would say, depends on the type of marketing that you are interested in. I would say do research on if there's a specific function within marketing. I put a few examples here, but like digital marketing, you're probably going to want to know about search engine optimization, paid ads, how to use Google Analytics. If you're more of a campaign role, like demand gen or prospect facing, you're going to want to know about email automation, lead scoring, working with sales, things like that. If I had to sort of describe a marketer from my experience, definitely someone who is a creative thinker. You know, we're always building new campaigns. Again, we don't want necessarily to just keep doing the same thing over and over. So it's always thinking outside the box, being really creative in your messaging, in your tone, because you really want to grab people. I read a stat recently where people's attention spans are at like 8 seconds with an email. So how do we grab them with our subject line in the first couple of sentences with our emails? That's what marketers think about all the time, is how do I really engage my audience with my message and my tone? We're also very cross-functional. I think marketers are very friendly and outgoing, and we want to work with everyone. And then finally, we are data-driven. A lot of our KPIs revolve around how are our programs performing. And so we have to be able to look at our data, analyze it, present it to leadership if something's not working, be very transparent about it. If it is, let's all celebrate together. But being data focused, I think, is another key attribute of being a marketer. And then I just put a really simple career path here. This is actually what I would consider my career path to be. But of course, depending on what size of company you're at, this may be a little bit more flat, or there may be more layers as well. So I started off as a marketing coordinator. After I left sales, I got into a marketing coordinator role, field marketing, moved my way up to marketing manager, and now I'm a senior manager with a team. And then, of course, in the future, moving to director, VP, and then eventually CMO. But I will say that in my experience, I recommend that even if you are in, customer marketing, for me, for example, if I know that I'm very much a customer facing role, I'm always finding ways to shadow and mentor with other customer facing teams to just make you a bit more well-rounded in the expertise or the area that you're really focusing in. So I recommend that even if you are focus in one area, shadow other teams if you can. You can learn a lot, and it may spark a new interest where you can move to a different team in the org and still stay with the business. But then you're gaining new skills and you're really growing in your career.
Wow, Cetiera, you sound like an amazing team player. Someone's exciting. I can see all the solutions and ways like fact find together. Let me know if you're doing a scavenger hunt. I want to be on your team. I think you'll do well. Well, Cetiera, you have been fantastic. I'm gonna have you say your farewells until the Q&A, and as I welcome Randall to the stage. So, Cetiera.
All right,
beautiful.
thank you.
Well, Randall, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, because Cetiera, got me excited, and I hope and see many people here that was interested in thinking about marketing, different perspectives, was able to really take some of her great advice and learn more about the opportunity.
Oh yeah, I don't know how I follow that. She kind of set the bar high. I'm like, oh, okay, let me see what I can do now.
Well, Randall, let's start it off. Please introduce yourself to the audience, to those that are watching live and that'll tune in later.
Good evening, everyone, and hello, who's ever watching this on recording. My name is Randall Hollimon Jr., and I'm an associate implementation project manager for BigCommerce. In the implementation role, I work with merchants onboarding onto the BigCommerce platform from the other e-commerce platforms like WooCommerce, Shopify, Etsy, and pretty much I'm a helping hand. I help them connect the dots where they're missing with their current e-commerce platform to what we have. So I do a lot of research daily, a lot of talks with my team managers, a lot of sittings and other meetings, figuring out different ways and digging through old project repositories to figure out how to help my merchants out. A little bit about me. I'm in Houston, Texas, from Houston, Texas. I have a non-traditional tech background. So I actually got my degree, Cetiera, I like this, in communications, advertising, and marketing with a minor in business foundation. So I have a marketing background, which helps me because I love to talk. At the same time, I was a college athlete that really helped me learn about teamwork and learning how different people work in order to get to a common goal. So that's why I kind of fell in love with project management, because it reminded me of that teamwork, everybody working together. Even if everything's going haywire, how do we get back to the main focus of getting this complete, making sure everybody's happy, and making sure we hit all our all our minimal value products, making sure everything's hit. Fun facts about me. So I'm just a relaxed guy. My hobbies are be a typical athlete. I play basketball on my off days. I work out constantly. Running, which most people say is a weird hobby, but if you don't catch me doing that, I'm sitting with my family and my friends, just kind of enjoying my time alone and my peace and quiet.
So then, Randall, let's dive into your day-to-day, because you said you got a non-traditional background, and you've been at BigCommerce for how long now?
So I'm actually very new. I've actually been 3 months on the 15th, so fairly new to BigCommerce. And so with my non-traditional background, I started off in nonprofit project management right out of college.
Okay.
So which is more traditional project management, which is waterfall, step A, step B, step C, all the way down. With BigCommerce and my associate implementation project management role, it's more agile, more constant shifts, overcoming issues and being able to provide solutions. So on a day-to-day, weekly basis, I'm constantly meeting with my merchants, the people that onboard onto BigCommerce. We have cadence calls throughout the week to where we sit down and we see what's going on with the project. What steps have they done now? What's completed? What's coming up in the pipeline for the next sprint, which is the next week that we're going to be working on. And then from there, we kind of set the objective of action items, what's to do in the following sprints, what's to do next, and then any risks that might pop up on the timeline. As you see, I do update various project logs from our project management software log. I update it for my director's eyes and the rest of my team's eyes, because we do it with the implementation project management team. We have a great team of everybody who wants to help each other. So they also will come in and look and see where I'm struggling or where I'm doing really good at, and then provide advice. Constant research, like I mentioned, I pretty much live inside the BigCommerce platform, whether it's our knowledge bases, whether it's solution architect hours, technical account management hours, or even sometimes I'm messaging the salespeople like, hey, can we get on a call real quick so we can, help me piece together where I'm missing with my said merchants with the project. After that, it's, like I said, I dive down deep, kind of teach the merchants how the BigCommerce platform works, giving them best practices, getting them, like Cetiera said, from point A to point B, getting them off their current platform and onto the BigCommerce platform.
And I bet you've been having a lot of different stories from different customers based on their challenges, and where they are with the process.
Oh, yes, sir. Dealing with the merchants I deal with, since I'm newer, I start with the lower monthly recurring revenue merchants. The lower tier ones, they're all enterprise clients, but they're the lower tier before we step up to a higher tiers. So I get them. They're the first time users trying to just get a viable product on the market. So it's a whirlwind for me, but it's also very warming and feeling, because these people are trusting me to help them solve an issue, and BigCommerce is the solution. So my job is to use everything I have in my support knowledge, repositories, team, knowledge bases, and be able to provide them a good service. So when they do launch, there's no issues, and I can hand them over to the customer success team.
So then let's connect that with the impact on BigCommerce, right? Because you mentioned the day-to-day, the way you're engaging with the customers and providing them with the ease of use and understanding of how the platform directly ties to revenue. So from an impact on the company, let's talk about how, from what you see, how is that, providing value, benefit to BigCommerce and even with the customers?
Well, with that, how that helps BigCommerce is it shows that we're a warm company, that we're willing to sit there, hold your hand essentially, and get you onboarded, work through anything that you have, and that we're able to provide you a service. Our impact as on the implementation project management team is, like I said earlier, we help merchants successfully onboard to the BigCommerce platform. From there, we connect the dots for them. We get them in contact. If they need certain customizations, I can then get them scoped out with a solutions architect where they sit down and go over things. Or if they need more time with me, we can set up more calls and we can work through it. We can do working sessions to where I'm pulling up articles and we're working through it together. On my end, I'm pulling up their store as well, being able to provide some, not all technical aspects, but at least pointing them in the right directions and then fulfilling those needs that they have at that time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Cetiera was talking about, the sales and how she's providing that support for them, right, through her strategy and growth from a marketing side. And then from the implementation side, you're here providing the same support for the customers to make sure they're engaged, right, to make sure that they want to be, continue to work with BigCommerce and actually work with you, right? Because sometimes it can, you may not want to work with that right individual, but you like the company, so you're trying to make it work, and you're that first stop, right? That first engagement point.
Right. Right after sales, after our sales handoff, they come right to me, we meet, and I pretty much set the stage like, hey, I'm your resource. I'm here to help you. My job is to make sure we get across the finish line. I tell them, honestly, I'm not a technical person. The only thing technical I can do is plug my phone in and charge it and turn my computer on. But I tell them I'm a good resource to look up things. I love research. I love diving through data. Or like Cetiera says, diving through like knowledge bases, because it helps me learn the platform as well and able to speak clearly on our platform. And that when I'm able to speak clearly, I'm able to help our merchants and ease their pain with going forward with BigCommerce. With our team, we essentially, like I said, we're handholders, but we kind of create the sense of family with them because we're always able to work with them, always able to find the solutions they need and be able to point them in the right directions.
Mm-hmm. For those that are watching, please submit your questions because we'll dive into the Q&A section and we'll bring all of our speakers together. So I'm very excited for that because I see these comments coming through. So Randall, let's now segue into your credentials, the career path, what this looks like for those, once again, that may just be starting, or for those that are already inside this space, right, that already been working inside this field for some time. Correct.
Yeah. So credentials to have as an implementation project manager, my first ones are the biggest ones to me are the project management professional, which is PMP, the acronym, and certified associate in project management, which are the two big certifications through the Project Management Institute. Those two are world renowned, and since I have a non-traditional background, though me getting my CAPM certification really elevated me in my job search, being able to say, oh, wow, he has this certification. That's a hard exam to pass. Somebody with a non-technical background who has this, that means they really studied. I read the Project Management Guide of Knowledge. I studied all types of forms of project management to elevate myself to be able to get into where I'm at now. So if you're new, look into those certifications. If you're already in the tech space and want to transition, those two certifications are highly, highly regarded in the field of project management across all platforms, whether it's traditional or agile. The second one is a Scrum Master. That's more for your agile project management. I got that through a boot camp. Now, again, I told you I have a non-technical background, so I had to piece together my career to get to where I'm at now. So I took a boot camp through Trilogy at Rice University, the Agile Project Management Technology Boot Camp, 6 months. But what it did was it gave me a broad understanding of traditional project management and this new wave of agile project management, which helped connect the dots in my career path, which essentially led me to BigCommerce and being here now, being able to speak to everybody and share my story.
For sure. And if y'all are looking to get inside the tech space, right, reach out to us. We can make those connections and make sure that you're going on that journey wherever that journey is inside the tech space. So Randall, I appreciate your direction, right? You laying out the land for those individuals, because once again, there are some people who are not at all exposed to tech and they're looking to make that pivot, and hearing your story, definitely resonates with those people.
Right. Yeah. The reason why I got interested in tech, honestly, is because my significant other, she's in tech. I used to sit around and listen to her meetings and all of that when I was working from home. And then she's the one who pieced everything together for me. So having that support system on my side helped piece it together for me. And see, I was like, oh, I was really doing project management, just not on the technical side. And she's the one who really spurred me to get into where I'm at now. And that's what led to my career path. Like once I found out I was doing project management, I fell in love with it. Like not many people say they love this. Like I've had mentors, I've met a lot of people that's like, oh, I got to do this, but I truly love it. Even though some clients might drive me crazy, I love what I do. I love what I do as the best part of my career right now. I can say I truly love what I do, and I'm happy.
Yeah, and that's what any employer wants, right? They want someone who's truly passionate and love the work that they do because they want you to be a part of the mission, be a part of the customers, be a part of the environment that you're creating. So, Randall, thank you so much for sharing your journey. Thank you so much for going about your job and your experience. Now we're going to have you say farewell, and we're going to bring Ashley to the stage.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Randall. Ashley, how are you?
I am doing well, Michael. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much for your willingness to be a part of this great conversation. We've heard from Cetiera, we've heard from Randall, and now I'm excited for those that are here and those that are watching later to see you and hear about your journey. So, Ashley, please introduce yourself for our audience.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely have some work to do just following up after Cetiera and Randall. So I'm definitely going to do my best in trying to make sure I make them proud as long as my team as well. Well, first and foremost, my name is Ashley Shakespeare. I am currently the Senior Sales Development Representative here at BigCommerce on the mid-market team. Pretty much overall, my job consists of being the liaison between the merchant and our AEs as well. But most of the time, I'm the first person they get to speak to. Basically, I learn all their wants and needs and all their pain points to see if we actually have opportunities to minimize on that. Also, basically being that person that goes between the two, I can actually bring in whomever I need to from other teams and also our VP as well too. Actually, this job is actually challenging, but yet it is rewarding as well because not only do I build a relationship with our merchants, I also get to learn and build upon what is needed and how we can be better as a company as well to make sure that we're providing the utmost customer experience, of course, generating revenue and retention.
I like how Randall, Cetiera, and you are always engaging with the customer, right? Because it creates a complete different dynamic when you're connecting technology, processes, and people, right? It's like, how do we make these things work? How do we connect things together? So actually, let's dive into your role. So let's walk through your day-to-day at BigCommerce, from the sales side, because I know both Cetiera and Randall, commented on the sales side. So now we're going to hear from your perspective.
Absolutely. So my day consists of a plethora of things. I am pretty much, like I said, I am deep dive in the trenches in sales, which I love because it is very rewarding, but very challenging as well. So what my day consists of is basically going through emails, seeing what type of engagement throughout our territories, of course, building that trust and rapport within our merchants as well as our AE, just making sure this process goes as seamless as possible from when the transition I'm doing for the merchant and it's going to the AE as well. Also, tailoring a course of action that best fits the needs of the prospect as well. Of course, collaborating with all team members and of course, going over wins, but also the lessons that sometimes we know we can't win them all. So therefore, we go over those lessons and see where were we weak on or where were we lacking and try to go ahead and maximize on those opportunities to where we can definitely get better and learn from those. Also, my job consists of a lot of communication amongst different people. So it is very important to be a voice, in this particular industry and also make sure that you're being heard, but also implementing your ideas to where what's going to be best, not only for the merchant, but for yourself and the company as well, too. So that's a little bit of what I tend to do on that.
But isn't it challenging, though? So I used to also work in sales at Oracle, so I definitely understand, being in this position. But I know that there's some individuals who say, oh, no, I don't want to go into sales, right? And not many individuals know that sales inside the tech space is a great, great, great opportunity. So for those who are, hesitant to get into sales because they feel like that culture, like that environment isn't for them, how would you say, hey, Yeah, you could be inside this space, right? No, you could get plugged inside the sales space. How would you share them to open up the door for those inside this tech space?
Absolutely. So I know a lot of people don't want to do the sales. I mean, at one point in time, I thought I didn't, but I've been in this industry for a long time. The best thing I can possibly tell you that I learned by being in sales is that you have to be confident in the ability that you know how to sell. My thing is the first thing you do whenever you go to a job interview is what you sell yourself. So therefore, all you're doing within the industry is selling yourself. So pretty much overall, once you sell yourself, half the work is done. The only thing I can sit here and definitely say is that you can't beat yourself up over someone telling you no. Like I said, you're always gonna, sometimes a rejection is not really a rejection. Sometimes it can be not right at this time, or you know what, we may want to push this over a little bit later. So therefore you can't definitely get discouraged over one thing, because who's to say the next person will say yes. And so you definitely got to be sure of yourself, confident, and can't beat yourself up over a loss, because sometimes that loss is just a loss is just a lesson. In order to get to the blessing, you have to learn the lesson.
Yeah, and you're so right, Ashley. And the fact that you have to be consistent and build that relationship. Sometimes you're gonna get no. Sometimes you're gonna get not right now. Sometimes you're gonna get, hey, let's talk later. But as you build that relationship and see, where an individual, whether it's a customer, a partner, even a staff member, where they are, y'all can come to a great place where it can be mutually beneficial for everybody.
Absolutely, and also learn to ask for help. Like I said, you have a team. It's not just always about just one person. You have to, like I said, you have a team of people. They're there to help you. So therefore, use that voice and ask for help, because that's more valuable than anything. Because what you could be doing, it may not be all wrong, but it could be one extra step that you're missing that someone else can actually teach you to make that a successful win for you.
Yeah. So then let's transition on your impact, because sales is of course tied to revenue. You are working across departments, so there's team building. You mentioned communication. Randall and Cetiera mentioned communication, and we all know how important it is to ensure that we're all on the same page and working towards that goal. So let's talk about, from your position, how does that impact the company?
Well, how that impacts the company is that being in this industry, you have to be strategic in what you're doing. You have to add value in anything you are doing whatsoever, especially in sales, because that's what's going to get people to honestly listen to you and being able to want to interact with you. Everything has to have some type of value. So what that means is that just because you don't know something, you can always educate yourself. Educate yourself on the company, educate yourself on the client that you're working with, or just being able to educate yourself on the data that you're wanting to dive into to make make yourself stand out more. Because at the end of the day, sales, you're in competition with everybody, different particular companies. Your job in sales is to be able to stand out amongst them all. You have to convince them why they want to go with you and why are you the best choice and over that. And sometimes it's being able to think outside the box. You can't, sometimes the straight up and down way of doing things is, sometimes it doesn't work. So therefore you have to either take that left or that right, and also maximize on your opportunities, and also being able to listen to where those needs are needed, especially in the long run as well. It can be needed now, but you have to look at, okay, where's this gonna go? How do you expect them to grow? And don't be afraid to ask what their goals are in trying to benefit and grow. Where do they see themselves within the next couple years? And always be able to go to events. You never know what could possibly happen. You can always build up prospects there, learn new business techniques, but also being able to put a face to the name, and also being heard and using your voice to actually be that person that can actually sell them, but also be successful within the company as well too, to where people are not forgetting about you.
For sure, Ashley, and you've you let me go back to building relationships, right? Because every time that we're looking to do business with any partner or bring somebody on the team or even a volunteer and someone going through our program, it's like we want to build a relationship, right? We want to get to know you, right? We want to be able to know each other a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now. and us still doing, collective work together. So as you think about sales and working, I definitely see the connection and just truly ensuring that you're building that relationship with the customer and the people that you're working with.
Absolutely.
So Ashley, let's talk about the credentials and the career path within inside the sales space, because this is once again, a great way for people to make that transition inside the tech space, and it ties right in what Randall was talking about like non-technical pathways. So this is one where people can really get plugged in. So let's talk through the credentials and the career paths.
Absolutely. So with this career path over here, basically the credentials, I'm not a super technical person. Basically, I just use my resources and I actually learn, different things in order for me to go ahead and, explain myself, but also understand that, hey, it's okay to say, I don't know this. Let me find out for you. Or I have somebody that can actually be able to help you further with being that liaison. Pretty much it's being able to establish and engage in dialogue and being able to target your customers. You have to know how to speak. You have to know how to talk. You have to use your voice in that. And with the career path that I chose, it's not super ordinary. It's not the traditional career path. I wanted to get into a career to where I have different outlets that I can explore. So whether if it's going into marketing, I can do that, or staying in sales, or being the account exec or senior account exec, or the customer success manager. All of those kind of fall in line because all of those play a big part. And so it's important for anyone that's wanting to come in sales, basically learning how to collaborate and learning from experience. Also being able to be a self-starter and being creative and being hands-on, going to these events, networking, all of these fall in line to what you're wanting to do. And like I said, I don't have a degree in tech. And that is completely okay. If anyone wants to get one, that is wonderful. I may end up getting one as that, but I feel like networking is a lot more important because it's best to learn from the people that's in the industry that can actually help you learn and direct you on the path that you're going on.
Yeah, I completely agree with you in that. And as you're talking about, once again, sales, a lot of people transition from sales into different pathways, right? Cetiera mentioned that she was in sales at one point and she went into marketing, right? And I know of individuals who went from sales to customer success or customer experience, some implementation side, some even transition to the more technical side and be like a solutions architect or a solutions consultant. So there's a lot of options and a lot of ways for people to transition inside sales. So I highly encourage for those that are thinking about sales or have any sales experience, and look at tech jobs. That's a great way for you to get plugged in.
Absolutely. Just don't limit yourself. Just because you see something that may be a little bit out of your criteria, never limit yourself on it, because that could be an opportunity that you can thrive in. And I've learned that. Someone taught me that a long time ago, to never limit yourself just because you may think it may not be in your industry. You never know.
Yeah, for sure. And now I'm excited because now we get to bring everybody back. We have Cetiera, we have Randall, and of course we have Ashley. As we transition and talk about, first as we think about your roles, thinking about the next step, and talking about some advice, some key takeaways that we want to leave behind for those, once again, that are watching live or will watch later. Here goes some of the ones that y'all shared with us. So Cetiera, we're going to go back to you as the one who first kicked this off. What are some advice that she wanted to highlight for those that are inside this space?
Yeah, absolutely. So I put 5 of my top tips there to highlight a few, really being, and I think Ashley just touched on this, but being willing to raise your hand and take on new initiatives, even if it's not something you've done before, has really helped me in my career. It has taught me a lot about maybe that initiative that I didn't know about. It has given me a chance to work with more people, maybe more cross-functionally. And it really also shows leadership and your managers and your peers that you're ready to take on new tasks, you're ready to take on more responsibility, and that you're a go-getter. And that really speaks volumes in a company to show that you're ready for the next level. You're ready for that next thing, and you're not just, I'm just going to do my thing for the next 20 years, which is fine. but it always helps you to get ahead as well. And then I would say I advocating for yourself, especially as minorities, I think is huge. No one's going to hold your hand up to the finish line. You really have to make a plan for yourself. You really have to advocate for yourself. Speak up when it's promotion time, when it's annual review cycle, and say, this is what I've done. I always document my wins so that when it comes to review cycle time, I can say, these are the things that I'm so proud of. Now tell me what I can work on so that I can do that for the next review cycle. So, all of those things that I put there have really helped me personally in my career, finding a mentor, all of these things that we've touched on, and really just putting yourself out there, bringing innovative ideas will help to make you well-rounded and really make you stand out, as Ashley said, because it's for sales, you're standing out to other competitors. When you're maybe going for a promotion, maybe you have to stand out against your peers, but really help you to stand out and show leadership that you're ready for the next level as well.
Yeah, for sure, Cetiera, and I would echo that last piece for sure, is that, we all should be coming with our full selves to bring what we bring to the table, right? Because, everybody has something different, right? We all have different experiences, different backgrounds, and all of that really makes a team, well-rounded, regardless of which position, which occupation it's in. So Randall, let's transition to you, Randall. What are some advice, some takeaways that you wanted to leave with these individuals?
Oh man! Looking at the other lady's advice, I think I messed up. But no, this is coming from my experience, everyone. I think everything on my advice ties into number 3. Failure is part of life. Learn from it and keep going. I believe Ashley mentioned that. Learn from the failures. Learn from everything. Prime example. I've probably applied before I landed BigCommerce with my non-technical background. I probably applied for over 600 jobs. And I failed miserably. But what kept me going was the fact that I got feedback from those recruiters. You're missing this. You have the certifications, but you're missing this. So what I did was continue to learn. I went on LinkedIn, learned, made myself adaptable, kept changing, kept adding to my skill set. So when I actually landed the job with BigCommerce that I won, that's a small win. But now that I'm here, I keep continuing to find those small wins, like Cetiera said. Keep leveling up within my role as an associate implementation project manager. So then when it's time for review time, I can take all those wins to my director and be like, hey, I've done this since I've been here. I've learned these skills. I've sat in these meetings, learned from said senior managers, and I've applied all that to my career path. And this is what I've done. So when it's promotion time, like Cetiera said, you have that. And also the biggest thing I'm always going to say is love what you do. Love what you do seriously, because I'm in a space now that I love to do. I wake up excited to go to work. Previous jobs and previous roles, I didn't love it. The nonprofit role, it was cool, didn't love it. Before that, I was in sales, ladies. I was in sales. I was new home sales and construction project management. So dealing with all that red tape, money was fantastic, but I didn't love what I did. I actually love what I do now. So those are the 2 biggest things. Learn from failure, and just keep going, and love what you do.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, I'm all about following your passions. When we have volunteers who want to reach out to us, my first thing is, what do you love to do, right? Let me get you plugged into what you love to do, because then you'll truly be a part of it, right? You'll lean into it, and it won't seem like work, right? It'll be like something that you're truly enjoying and being a part of. And then that's where I believe we all should be. So actually, let's transition to your piece of advice, from the sales side, from your experience, from your background. Please, share with us some of the takeaways.
Wonderful. I'll be happy to. Well, Cetiera and Randall have some great takeaways. I mean, seriously, I think a lot of them aligns with what I have going on. But I would definitely say, first one, be yourself. Remember that you are enough, and whatever you set your mind to, you can definitely do. They don't need another Ashley. They don't need another Randall. They don't need another Cetiera. They need you, okay? So be your most authentic self, because anytime you try to be something you're not, they can smell that a mile away. So be your most authentic self. Second one, be coachable. And I mean this in life, and I mean this in professional. Always keep learning. because the moment you stop learning, that's the moment you fail. So always continue to embrace and learn any and everything that you want to do. My other one would be find a mentor, whether it's somebody on your team, whether it's multiple people, it can be whoever you want. Find someone that aligns with what you're wanting to do that's going to help you elevate. And whether it's in the industry or whether it's in life itself, always be able to learn from those lessons. Not every failure is bad whatsoever. I had to learn that failure isn't bad. It is just a lesson. So therefore you have to achieve that to embrace the blessing. Then of course, lastly, never limit yourself. Create your own path. Okay. It may not be traditional, and that is fine. But don't limit yourself just because something that you feel like, oh, I can't do this, or someone else can't tell you can't do this. No, you can do whatever you want to do. And that's all the advice I have for tonight so far.
I love it, Ashley. I love it, Randall. I love it, Cetiera. I'm hearing, number one, always keep learning, right? Lean into your job and love what you do. Never settle. All right, and always look for milestones and more networks and more people in your area, in your environment, so you can get plugged in and take advantage of those opportunities. So this is great advice. This will be on our channels. Everybody can go back and just dive in and rewatch it. So I truly love that. And now, this is one of my favorite parts of our presentations. We're going to transition out to the Q&A. So for those that's been thinking about that question and waiting to the last moment, now is your time to go ahead and hit send on that button. So please drop your questions and let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to start us off as people from the team and everyone gets ready. So my first question, and I'm going to start with you, Randall. My first question is, so far, what has been the most rewarding aspect of your job at BigCommerce, right? As you think about your day-to-day duties, what has been truly rewarding as an implementation manager at BigCommerce? And Cetiera will go to you after Randall.
Like I said, the most rewarding is when I find that right solution or connect that our client or merchant to that right solution, and it opens up all the possibilities. Like they start getting their site together, everything starts moving along. So that's the most rewarding for me right now, being so young in the game. That's one of my most rewarding things, is like seeing the connections happen and then watching watching the site just blossom and grow from there.
Yeah,
Sure.
and for me, I would say the most rewarding, and this is, a single moment. There's so many I can think of, but recently, the program I was talking about, our customer awards program, I was, running the program, and we had announced our winners, and we just had so many submissions of customers just being so thankful that we were wanting to highlight their stories and really show them off and their success and their champions. And I was just really grateful to be part of a program that was really about highlighting their success and really supporting our customers in that way. And just seeing the comments coming in, it just made my heart so happy to see how many customers were excited about being recognized and were just grateful to have the opportunity to submit their stories. So working with customers, I think you can tell how much I love it, but working with customers really is something that I truly love and grateful that I get to do every day.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And Ashley, we'll close out with you on this question.
Well, I think the most rewarding part of my job is making sure my merchants are taken care of. Even after the entire process, I still follow up with them to the point where they've even mentioned it to my VP. And, he has so much things to do, and for him to sit here and message me to tell me that a client had rave reviews about me and I was able to bring in that business and continue to bring in businesses within that industry, that means the world to me, because I was able to make a difference on that. So that's my winning moment right there.
Yeah, I love that. It's all about the customers, the people you're serving, the ones that you're engaging with and talking to, right? Really building those connections and those relationships. So now we're going to move to our question from the audience. So team, let's see what questions do we have. So one question comes from Sweet, and it says, how does one translate their transferable skills from their former careers into a tech career? So Cetiera, we can start with you on this question.
Okay, perfect. I first off, I love this question. My husband was actually a teacher and a high school football coach for 10 years, and he made the jump to tech. So we have this conversation all the time. There are so many skills, such as being able to communicate clearly, being able to work cross-functionally, being able to analyze data. Those skills that are in jobs that are not necessarily in tech are always needed and always wanted in tech as well. So if you think about the role that you want, think about more of those soft skills, more of the personable skills that you'll be bringing to the table. You can always learn the tech skills, but when you can bring in your communication and your critical thinking, that's how you can really transfer your skills into tech and make the role what it is.
Yeah, Randall, I see you nodding there, so I'm gonna go to you next.
Yeah, Cetiera took the words right out of my mouth. Her husband's story is great, and it's sort of like mine, coming from the nonprofit world and construction, home sales, and project management. That to this, I had to take the biggest skill when dealing with people is empathy, understanding their why. Why are they coming to us for this issue? We have a solution. Why is that? Listening to them. One of the biggest thing about being an implementation project manager is being a servant leader, like shutting up completely, cutting your mouth off, and purely listening. And just listening to their needs and being able to pick apart what they really want and need and be able to provide a service to them. All my other transferable skills coming from nonprofit to this have really helped here. Like Cetiera said, and Ashley also mentioned earlier, communication, working with cross-functional teams. So those are the biggest that I got from my transferable skills over to tech from other careers.
Yeah, I can completely relate to that. You know, a lot of employers now are saying, hey, we can find individuals that have the experience for sure, right? But what we're looking for is those soft skills now, right? How do you engage with teams? How do you communicate? How do you write emails, right? How do you follow up? You know, what does your consistency look like? You know, those are the things that they're looking for now. So Ashley, we're going to go to you for the same question. You know, what's your advice when you're looking to make that transition to the skills you have into the tech space?
That was a wonderful question. So I can definitely relate to this question full-heartedly. I came from selling diamonds all the way into the tech world. And so my best thing is you have to let your personality outshine you being so transactional. You cannot be transactional. And when I say that, the money is going to come. My thing is you're there to build rapport and build a trust. They want to trust whoever they decide to come to. So therefore, you have to be able to take your time and big time listen to what their needs are, listen to what the disadvantages they're experiencing and how we can implement those changes and make sure that the platform that they're coming to, whether it's BigCommerce or whatever the case may be, that they feel confident in the decision that they're making on that. Also, being able, just because you haven't worked in a tech field, that is completely okay. You've done other things that could be implemented within the tech field, whether it's marketing, whether it's business management, or whether it's sales. It can be any type of sales. As long as you're willing to be coachable, people can teach you how to do this. You have to be able to learn and be able to put in the work in order to learn it as well too, but in order to be successful as well. But also use your resources, use people that work in the industry as well too. And that's what helps, build that particular aspect up and show people that, hey, she may not be so well versed in this, but she has all of these to bring to the table to where we can mold her into being well versed in it.
Mm-hmm. And that's what people want, right? Now we're seeing more and more employers investing in talent, taking people from the early stage and saying, hey, we're going to mold and shape you and give you the skills exactly, what we need, versus having to retrain you. So our next question comes from Ekinwande, and it says, finally able to sign in with my account in the face of tsunami, jobless and layoffs hitting the tech industry and financial sector. How do you get to keep focus?
Is this
So
for me?
this is a tough question here. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with you, Ashley.
That is a tough question. And like I said, I've seen it already. So the how I stay focused is I focus on what I can control. You can only focus on the controllables whatsoever. So whether it's in your job or in your personal life, you have to go in every day and focus on what you have control of. Job losses and layoffs, yes, they are unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. But sometimes those are beyond your control. Sometimes it's not even up to you. Sometimes it's not even you at all. It could be the company base or anything of that sort. But you have to learn how to, tune that out to where it's not affecting you in your job and be able to control what it is that you can control on and just have a little bit of tunnel vision and not worry about the surroundings outside of what you're doing right now. And so
Yeah.
that's how I kind of focus on that.
Yeah, there's so much going on in this world, and there is so much to digest. And there is, several different countries, several different companies, several different types of people, and we're all engaging in different challenges in our lives, right? There's been many of our volunteers, our partners, our staff members that have been impacted, negatively in any way, shape, or form. Whether it's due to personal matters, natural disasters, there's things that are going on, and it is truly, truly impactful. So, Cetiera, we'll go on to you next as well.
Yeah, actually, Ashley took the words right out of my mouth. It really is focusing on what you can control. There are so many things that happen, especially in business, decisions that are made at executive levels that just trickle down to people that you may not always have context for. But being able to focus on your job, ensure that you're doing a good job, that's what's really going to help you get through any sort of turmoil, any sort of changes. Being flexible, I think, always helps as well, especially in SaaS and tech, where priorities are always shifting, initiatives are shifting to meet the demands of the market or the business. Being flexible in maybe taking on a new type of project, being flexible in joining a new team and learning what they're doing. Flexibility is a very good skill to have when you're in tech, because again, things change all the time. But I totally agree with Ashley. Being able to focus on what you can control is really going to help you stay centered in the midst of all of what could be chaos.
So I'm going to ask Randall a similar question, but slightly different, and say then, Randall, being new on the job, how are you balancing with all the information that you are digesting and ensuring that you are not getting overwhelmed or not delivering on the different projects you're working on?
How I do is there's an old saying one of my college football coaches told me back in the day. He asked me a simple question: are you an asset or a liability? I always try to make myself an asset, meaning doing what my job is supposed to do. If I'm supposed to update these logs, I have to update these logs no matter when it is. Get them updated. Make sure my documentation's up to date, tidied up, notes are there. So that's how it's pretty much what the ladies have said. Control what you can control. Yes, I've seen it. We've all seen it. Michael, I do have a friend that works for Oracle, and he's told me about some stuff that's happened. He's still there, but I know what's going on. So like the lady said, just control what you can control, and be adaptable. And that's one thing I've also learned with BigCommerce in my short time. There's so many different avenues in BigCommerce that if it feels like it's coming, they will try to keep you and find you somewhere and keep you there just so we can keep you, because the culture and the family is great at BigCommerce. So it's like the lady said, control what you control and making sure I'm an asset and not a liability to my director and to my team that's bringing down numbers instead of pushing the numbers forward.
Yeah. It's we're thinking about controlling what you can control and not being overwhelmed with anything else that's happening, and that you really can't do anything about it. And that truly is unfortunate, and that's where people really focus on the right things. We keep on moving through. So then the next question we have is from Mia White. How are you able to build a mentorship/support team to guide you in your careers? And we're going to go to Cetiera for this one.
I absolutely love this question. I was in a training recently, and I love the way that they phrased it. They said, build your own board of directors. Every company has a board of directors that advises them on what they should do next, where they're going, answering questions. I highly recommend building a board of directors for your career, for your personal life. Maybe one person is in your family, maybe one person is a close friend, maybe a couple of them are professionally, maybe one is in a group like this where you're able to network. But I would say build your board of directors, but also think about it being a two-way street. A lot of mentors, I feel, get asked to be mentors and it's very one-sided, where the person is always just asking for advice, which is absolutely what they're there for. But there's a relationship that you could build with your board of directors, with your mentor, so that they can learn from you and you can learn from them. Because typically if someone is at, let's say, an executive level, they've likely been in the industry in their role for a while. There's still so much that they can learn. So I would say how I did it was I just reached out to executives that I was always in meetings with, especially customer facing ones, always in meetings with. And I just asked for an hour of their time every month. Of course, you can dictate and work with that person to determine how often you guys are meeting and what type of questions you're able to ask. But, speak up and ask. I find that a lot of people say yes rather than no when it comes to mentoring because they want to share that knowledge. They want to answer questions and they want to help newcomers or people who are coming in. So I'd say just put yourself out there and ask, and build a board of directors of people from different areas of your life who can give you a really holistic and well-rounded support as you're continuing on in your journey.
Yeah, completely agree with that board of directors. I've heard that as well. Is building those people around you that's a mentor, that's an ally, that's a sponsor, that's an advocate, right? Those that are really around you to help you on whatever that career journey looks like. So Ashley, we're gonna go to you. What did your support, your network of people look like for you in the sales side?
Well, my support is a plethora of different, people in different industries. So my thing is I kind of make it my mission to not only network, but also understand what it is that I'm wanting to be mentoring on, understanding that, it is a two-way street. As Cetiera said, I think sometimes mentorship get a bad rep because the expectation is so high, but you have to understand that it is a two-way street. So for instance, I have a mentor to where they're higher up in the company as well. Sometimes people get intimidated based on the title of what someone does for their professional life. At the end of the day, we're all human. And my whole thing is that people respect you more so because you're coming to them to learn. You take pride in what you do and you want to get better at your craft. And the only way you can get better at it is to learn from those who's actually been in that industry, but also they can tell you some of the mistakes that they made to help you avoid those. And so I have people in all types of industry, whether it's in marketing, whether it's in sales, whether it's in, style and design outside the tech world. I keep those people close around me because I go to them and they give me guidance in what I'm doing personally and professional on how I can get better. So like I said, find a close crowd of people, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's in person, just as long as someone relates to you and or is willing to help you get better at what you're trying to do, by all means. Do whatever.
I hope everyone's taking notes because this is some great information. And we all have different advice, different experiences to connect. But all of this is relevant to the journey and to the pathway. So the next question we have is from Sweet. I came to tech and non-traditionally, so I always wanted to ask, especially people of color, how do you battle imposter syndrome and the stress of feeling like you need to keep up? So we're going to start with Randall with this question.
This is actually a great question, Sweet. So how I deal with imposter syndrome is I have to remind myself I'm good enough to do this. I'm here for a reason. BigCommerce didn't just say, come back around and pick me up and say, we just want to hire you because of this. Like they saw something in me. So I have to remind myself I'm here for a reason and I can do this job. I'm reading a book now about imposter syndrome that my girlfriend, who is also in tech, she's the one who, kind of like spurs me. I was like, no, you can do this. You're here for a reason. But yeah, that's how I do it. I just, that's how I battle it in the stresses of like keeping up. Like I just tell myself I can do it no matter where I start at. And I also feed off my different team members, my different team members of color. I know I have one, Will Emery. He reached out to me directly and like brought me into the implementation group, and really has been a steady hand of somebody I can talk to. And like anything questions that I have or any insecurities, like I'll voice it to him. He'll be like, "Nah, man, you got this. Stop overthinking it. Do you be yourself?" And that's how I overcome imposter syndrome.
Yeah. And Cetiera, we'll go to you next, and I'll highlight, Sweet's asking because we all have different ways of coping with anything, right? So she's curious from your perspective, based on what you do, who you are, how do you battle imposter syndrome? How do you overcome the stress and not being overwhelmed and saying, oh yeah, I got this, and I'm great at my job.
Yeah, and this is a great question because I have also battled imposter syndrome. I've moved up very quickly in my career, and so a lot of times I'm likely the only person of color in a meeting, and definitely the only person of color in meeting, especially with leadership. And so I love what Randall said. It comes down to knowing that you're good enough and that you've been put in this place for a reason. Again, they didn't just hire you to check a box. You're here because you have insight, you have expertise. They need you in the room. I love what Ashley said earlier. They don't need another Ashley or Randall. They need you in the room. So keep that in mind. And anytime imposter syndrome comes up, for me, I had to really overcome it by knowing that I was enough and having the confidence to stand in my role and say, I know what I'm doing. I can give this presentation. I can build this campaign. I can work cross-functionally with anyone because I have the knowledge, I have the skills, I've done the research, I've done this for years. So sometimes it does come over time, but really for me, it is having the confidence to say, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I'm supposed to be here. And there's no reason for me to feel like I'm an imposter because this is my role.
Yeah, I love it. I love sweet response. Yes, awesome, Randall. Thank you. I'm here for a reason and I can do this job, right? I'm a true believer that, everyone has a role to play. If we all play our role, we'll do it well and we'll move on forward. So Randall, Cetiera, thank you so much for that comment. I think we have one last question. I'm going to open this up to all our speakers here, right before we close out. So the last question that we have, I'm going to give them time to pull it up for us. I may have missed this, but does BigCommerce have a club or a group that supports their Black, Indigenous, or people of color employees? So are y'all part of any employee resource groups or affinity groups or anything like that at BigCommerce? And Ashley, we'll start with you on this one.
Yes, we actually do. There is, what is it? It's how many of them? There's BC in Color. That is mostly where, all of our minorities for BigCommerce actually go ahead and communicate from different events, networking, to basically being able to discuss anything within that channel. There is Black at BC. There is a plethora of different channels that we have for people of color at BC that I am actually in those particular channels as well too. I definitely get to keep up and actually get to see people that definitely, that looks like me, and that people that are in the organization that I may not have came in contact with physically, but I love to see that, to where, I can see people in spaces that maybe I'm looking into going to, or I didn't know that there was in that particular space, to where I want to introduce myself to say, hey, welcome. I know, we don't know each other, but I would love to get to know you, but also being able to make it a safe space for everyone as well too. So we definitely have those spaces.
And Cetiera, we'll go to you next, and feel free to talk about, other ways that BigCommerce is supporting the community. For those that are Black, Indigenous, people of color, anything else that kind of, maybe it's outside of the employee resource group lanes that you may want to share.
Yeah, absolutely. So BigCommerce is one of those companies where it really does feel like a community. We have a really amazing people team who are always creating ways for us to feel together. A lot of us work remotely or virtually. And so it's really nice to have a team really focused on getting people from different states, different countries even, together to feel like BigCommerce really is a community of togetherness. And Ashley mentioned a few of our ERGs. We have a really amazing ERG team and leadership. Tom is on the line now, who is our executive sponsor and executive leader of the ERGs. But it's really amazing to see how much work goes into managing those ERGs. There are always so many events for us to listen to people of color speakers. They'll do webinars, they'll do investment series. There are always resources that BigCommerce is promoting to all of its employees, especially for people of color. And it's so nice to work at a company that actually invests in that. A lot of companies just say that they do, but to be at a company that you see all of the magic happening, it's really special.
Mm-hmm. And Randall, when you started, was there like a big welcome for you? Were they saying, "Hey, Randall, come, let's connect you, get plugged in"? How was your experience like with the employer resource groups?
So when I first joined, I mentioned Mr. Will Emery. He's on my implementation team. He put me in everything. He put me in BC in color, Black at BAC, and there's other ERGs I'm looking to get into because my girlfriend, she is a D&I lead for another company. So we talk about this stuff. We talk about diversity in the work roles. She was a recruiter for another company, bringing up the HBCU path to get these kids in tech. So I'm interested in exploring more, learning about other cultures, other groups. With the Black and BAC, it was a warm welcome. They literally just popped on a screen. We had a talk, we had a lunch and learn, and I'm learning about everybody. And I'm seeing the real people, behind the pictures. Like, it's like, dang, they sound like me, look like me, same slang. Sometimes the Ebonics slip out, and everybody is the same. But it was a sense of warmth that, okay, BigCommerce allows this to happen, allows for these groups to meet. Coming from a world where we didn't have that in the construction world, where it's not like that, you have to come in here, you have that. It made me feel at home, made me feel wanted, made me feel like I can speak my mind or go to people who look like me, sound like me, who've been in my shoes. Hey, I can voice my concerns and my opinions or ask advice, and they give it to me. And they all love the network. We can go back and forth. I've got LinkedIn notifications from everybody, so I'm like, oh, okay, who's got this network? Who got linked with this? And so it's been great in my short time here.
I love that, Randall, and I love what you said, Cetiera, what you said, Ashley, because employer resource groups is definitely one way to get plugged in, and it's even more valuable, more beneficial when you know that your company is supporting you and engaging with you, whether that's locally through your community, through your culture. So that's fantastic. So Ashley, Cetiera, Randall, I want to say thank you for an amazing conversation. I love learning about your day-to-day. I love learning about your role, the impact that you have on the company, but then also the advice, from your experience, from your background, because we all have different stories. So I'll actually open it up. Is there anything else that y'all would like to say? Ashley, we'll go with you. And if you said enough, then it's okay. But I do want to give you an opportunity if you wanted to say anything else before we close out.
Just this one tidbit. It was a pleasure having this opportunity to speak with everyone here, and of course those who are joining, those who are going to be watching on the playback. Oh, there's the slang, there it is right there. But if you guys need anything, you can definitely contact me on LinkedIn. If you type in Ashley Shakespeare, I'll pop up. So therefore, I'm happy to speak with any and everybody, whether it's advice or personal or whatever the case may be. Feel free to contact me. And that's all I have for tonight.
Beautiful. And Cetiera?
Same for me. So happy to be here. I'm happy to meet with anyone to talk about marketing, to talk about transferable skills, to talk about being a person of color leader in a tech company. I have lots of experience in that as well. So find me on LinkedIn. I'm always happy to meet over coffee or lunch and share all my secrets.
And
then Randall, last but not least, any last farewells?
The lady said, I just want to say thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Thank you for letting me share my experience and my ascension to this path right now. Just everyone listening now on the recording, just love what you do and keep going. Everything will work out if in the right time. And that's all I got to say.
Well, Cetiera, thank you so much for your time. Randall, I truly appreciate you. Ashley, thank you as well. Y'all have truly made this event what it is, right? Because this would not happen without you all. So shout out to the BigCommerce team, the crew, those who've put this together and connected us with you amazing individuals. So for those that are watching, please, let's connect, stay in touch. If you're looking to be a part of our community and the work that we're doing, please go to our website at AUTMHQ.org. You can reach out to us via email as well, or sign up for our newsletter. If you're on social, you can find us at AUTMHQ, and we're always promoting and highlighting events. And stay tuned, because in December, starting December 6th, we have 12 days of AUTMHQ. We have 12 days of events, of programming. Some will be virtual, some will be in person. So please sign up for our newsletter, go to our website and check out our events page, and you'll see the different events that we have going. Like everybody said, continue to learn, be consistent, and get plugged in. Thank y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye.